Thank you everybody for joining. I'm going to give people just 1 or 2 more minutes to kind of trickle in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I am sharing the agenda on my screen here. We have a number of exciting updates this meeting, so I'll try and stick as close to the schedule as possible, but I am going to give people about 1 or 2 more minutes. All right, I'll go ahead and just get started here because, like I said, we have a full agenda. The first topic I wanted to bring up with everybody is the fee schedule that CRH will be implementing July 1st. It is a revision from the fee schedule we implemented last year, and it will apply to any new studies submitted July 1st on. I think everybody will be much happier with this one. It's a much simpler fee schedule. Overall, most teams will end up paying less. And it doesn't matter if you have a number of revisions or PI changes, it'll be the same flat schedule. So let me show you here. Credit to Megan Wickman for creating this. Again, it's doing the weird font thing. I've just pulled it open and it looked fine. So we'll get a clean version to everybody. But essentially what is happening is we're splitting out the type of funding, and we're doing an initial startup fee and then an annual fee after that. There's no calendar, budget, MCA fees that are individual that you need to be worried about. The types of funding are industry-sponsored interventional trials, so something with a drug, something with a device, something where there's changing care. We have industry-sponsored registries or observational studies. You'll note a much lower fee for those. And then we have federally funded at an even lower rate, federally funded or cooperative group studies, and then unfunded investigator-initiated studies are free. Another thing to note is that these fees include budget negotiation services and the comprehensive financial management. So your department can opt to utilize those services or not, but they are included in the fee if you want to use them. The costs are direct, so you'll need to include overhead, but we wanted to make sure that we were able to show the differing rates. And because this group here is sometimes a mixed IDC rate, we weren't able to just include overhead for these. So you'll note for industry, for interventional, the startup fee is $4,000, and then annually after that is $2,500. This includes the CTMS fee. This includes any MCA budget, calendar revisions, like I said, the comprehensive financial management, and the budget negotiation. Industry-sponsored registries or observational studies, so the much lower interventional, we dropped it, even the startup fee, almost just to the cost of the CTMS hosting fee. So this does include, if for some reason there needs to be an MCA completed, if there needs to be budget negotiation, this initial fee costs. And then the annual fee is $750. And like I said, it's as many amendments as are needed in that period. Federally funded $1,665 or $650 for the annual fee. And then
I can't.
And then unfunded investigator-initiated studies. So this is truly if your PI writes it and there are no funds, it's just completely free. So all of our services, including the incorporation into Encore, for free. So the industry overhead goes into effect on July 1st, as mandated by DSP. So Jacksonville and the Cancer Institute have already implemented this. This means that your contract has to be executed by July 1st. So we recommended that people began using that 35% earlier in the year. If you're negotiating budgets now, I would absolutely include that. Any questions about that? Okay, So I will include in the email this proposed fee schedule. Like I said, I believe the majority of studies will end up paying less fees with this than they were before. But if there is some situation in which this is going to cause greater burden than previously, please reach out. We'll figure out what needs to go on there. The fee exemption portal will still exist. I will say, with especially some of the lower rates we have in there, circumstances are going to be difficult for us to waive all fees for studies, especially since unfunded studies are already at $0. If you have questions, concerns, comments, observations, please let us know, and we will be able to work that out. But I just want to make this announcement for anybody. Any questions, concerns, comments? Okay, great. This went way better than the last fee schedule. Okay, next update I have is regarding calendar builds. So the Encore calendar builds are going to be a little different in the future. What you're going to note is that all of the patients are going to be put onto a screening arm initially. So they're going to get consented, you're going to record consent the same way, but there's going to be an on-arm date that needs to be recorded as well. What that allows is the automatic application of timelines in Epic. Because in order for Epic to automatically append a timeline, patients have to be placed on an arm. And what was occurring is there was a period of time from consent to randomization or consent to treatment where a patient didn't have an arm delineated, and it would prevent Epic from automatically applying those timelines. So now when you see a calendar, the calendar is going to be built the exact same way. Just the trigger to open up the first screening visit is that the patient has to be put on the screening arm. The arm name is going to be screening. The code is going to be SCR, and you're going to be able to see it in Encore very simply. If you do have any questions or there's any concerns on how to put a patient on an arm, reach out to us and we're happy to show you. The next thing that you would do is just when you get the patient on treatment, put them on the treatment arm. And then that will automatically append the treatment arm in Epic for them so that we don't have to worry about manually allotting those Epic timeline management elements. Any questions, concerns about that? Okay, great. All right, My CRH website. We were able to implement one of the requests so far. We are working on the other ones. We're going through them, and that is the legend. And so we did go through and create a graphic, if it'll load here for me, a graphic which has all of the different elements on here and what they mean. So I think my computer is just getting a little overwhelmed right now. Okay, here it is. So My CRH legend, we are looking at potentially using other fonts if people find this difficult to read. I thought it was okay, but we did receive feedback otherwise. Let's see here. So we try to create arrows to all the different little areas here to give you different ideas. If there's something that should be added to the legend, please let us know, and we will get that taken care of. Oh, okay. You guys can only see the agenda. Okay, let me retry and reshare my screen. Thank you guys for letting me know. Okay, can you see my screen now? Okay, I see Megan nodding, so I'm gonna take that as a yes. Thank you guys for letting me know. Okay, so the little eye icon here is where you click to see the legend, and then here are all the different elements to the presentation in My CRH. If there's anything that needs to be added, please let me know. We did try color coding this, and I'm going to ask the dev team here to see if there is a reason why this keeps going away from me. But we did try color coding it, and it was a little difficult to read on the monitor. But if you have other suggestions, if things need to be added or more interactive, please let us know and we'll go ahead and modify those. But that's the first ask in the My CRH feature request that we were able to do. We're working on other things like the reporting mechanisms, the landing page, so you have like a specific management group that you see and different things like that. So those are still in the works. We also went through and did the heavy lifting that was required in order to do the ASRF pull-ins. So those should be in the future coming pretty soon. All right, let me see here. We got some. Beautiful. Thank you guys. And I also have that I attached the Hub Pulse, which is like our little newsletter. We're unable to distribute it through typical channels, but what I can do is attach it to the invite. So I put the Hub Pulse with the link in there as well on the invite to this meeting. So if you go into the invite, you should be able to see it. Should be all good. All right. The next thing I want to do is just give everybody a quick update about a change on the intake form. We are asking a new required question, and that is this a first in humans trial? Meaning, did this go from bench to humans at UF? Is this the first time this drug or intervention or research manner is being utilized in humans? What that is going to allow us to do is eventually flag those studies to be highlighted and categorized on the UF Health website and any other place that we pull in study information. So it's a new point of data that leadership is interested in tracking. So it will be a question you'll see. It is a required question. If you don't know for sure, the answer is probably no, but I would check just to ensure that this isn't something that we want to highlight in those categories. All right. Any questions about that? Concerns, comments? And as a reminder, if there are other data points that you guys want to see captured on intake forms or publicized in any way, please let me know and we can see if we can work them in some way into the intake form so it can easily be pulled either from our REDCap or Encore. All right, well, we're flying through. Okay, next thing is I want to welcome 2 new staff to CRH. Just want to make everybody aware. We have a new incredible admin. Her name is Kelly Dickman. She's been helping schedule a lot of our meetings. She created the My CRH legend that is now featured in this meeting. She's excellent, but in case you see an email from her, that's Kelly. She just recently joined the team. And then Carrie Seitz, and she is helping with our Medicare coverage procedures, as well as a variety of other things coming to the team, returning to UF. A wealth of experience and knowledge. Really glad to have Carrie on the team, be able to help us give context for some things and be able to help with some of the workload that's there. So just wanted to highlight those 2 on here. So welcome back, everybody, or welcome back, Carrie, and welcome, Kelly. All right, next thing is we created a resource. We're working to integrate it into our website as well. On what it takes to submit to CRH. So this is a flyer. I think it was given out at Clinical Trials Day yesterday. Megan, Mary Ellen, did we give out copies of this? No.
We did not have
Okay. In the future, there will be copies of this. But it's just a quick guide to what it takes to submit intake to us. We are making it a like I said, like an FAQ on our website. It'll be on the main homepage of the CRH website. It'll say each of the documents, and then you'll click on it and it'll either have a description, like, do I need the red line version? Do I need the clean version of the protocol? Or it'll have a link to the template. So it says cost language template, and then you're like, well, where do I get that document? You click there, you'll get it. You'll be able to grab it. We'll keep it updated. So we are working. We received the feedback that it's difficult to gather these documents. We want to be able to do that and make it simpler for everybody. So thank you to Amanda Slater and Kelly Dickman for creating this graphic. I will also include this in the email. So these are the documents that are required. We need the protocol. We need the study contract. It does not have to be executed, but whatever they provided to you. We need the final negotiated budget, unless we're doing the budget negotiation. So if CRH is handling budget negotiation, we come in earlier in the process, but at the point of intake, we need the final negotiated budget. We need the billing grid. And so we can go over how to complete the billing grid. I do have a poll about that. So everybody, I need your feedback. We need the signed cost language template. And based on the signed cost language template, that's what we expect to see in that final ICF. So if it's not included in your informed consent, verbatim for what's on the form and what's been selected, we will send it back to you and ask you to resubmit to the IRB. And then we need the ICF templates. If there's multiple, we need all of them. So if you have pregnant partner, assent, like we need those included as well. If it's applicable for your study, we may need a drug table. This lets us know where drug is stored, if you're utilizing IDS, what the IND is, what the billing plan is. If there's a device, we definitely need a device table. And then we also need, if you're utilizing IDS, the cost of service for them. We also, if it is a device study, please include any of the CMS documentation as far as billing or any of the local MAC approval letters, anything regarding the device and how it is to be billed, we need that included as well. And any of the cost of service or confirmation of service documents. I hear everybody that the confirmation of service process is very arduous and it's disjointed and it's difficult. It is one of the things that we are working very closely with RBO and a number of the ancillaries to improve. We have a portal built, we have different resources built. We're just figuring out the best way to implement it and launch it since it is such a large process and everyone seems very nuanced. But I fully understand that the confirmation of service process needs improvement, and I promise it is our focus right now. Any questions or concerns about the intake process or anything that might need to be included? Yes, red line protocols, red line budgets, anything like that is super helpful for us. It allows us to quickly see where changes are made. We know that being in the study every day as a protocol or the study team, you guys are very quick to know like it's adding an open label extension arm or it's taking away this visit or it's removing this procedure. For us, what we ended up doing on sometimes when we don't have the red line version is we go line by line through protocols to try and identify things, and it takes it much longer than it should. So if you're able to provide red lines, we really like it, and you will at least be asked for it. Okay, so now I have a proposal for everybody, and I want to see what people's thoughts are. This truly is just kind of I want feedback. Current process is you submit to CRH with your billing grid, and then we build the calendar, and then we do stuff based off the billing grid. My thought would be that it may be a more streamlined function if you guys submit without the billing grid. We build the calendar based off the protocol and any other nuances that you put into your submission. And then we export the calendar as we've built it, provide it back to you and your team to then put the designations and the information on it. I think this will help in two ways. It will help ensure that a thorough calendar review is able to be done before we need to make a bunch of modifications to other steps. So you guys will be able to see the calendar, you'll be able to see what it looks like, you'll be able to review it. And then when we get the billing grid back, it will match exactly what we need to put into Encore. Because right now what we're finding is we're very disjointed between what we are receiving and what we are needing to build in Encore. And so if we're able to align those better, the MCA and the linking process will go much swifter. So I'm going to launch a poll, and you guys just tell me if you think that if that process would be something you'd be interested in doing. So essentially, you'd submit to CRH, there'd be no billing grid at that time. You'd submit to us, we'd build the calendar, we'd export the calendar and send it back to you, and then we would ask you guys to put the designations at that point. It will involve an extra step. You guys will have to resubmit to CRH when you're done with it. It's not like you submit to us and go through. But like I said, it will be so that everything is matched perfectly. All right, so I'm going to launch this poll and we'll just see how this goes. Go ahead and vote on your screen. Hopefully you guys are seeing it. Okay, one person voted, so at least one person's seeing it. All right, and the maybes, anybody who's voted maybe, if you're willing to put in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and just tell us like what additional information or what evaluation we would need to do, what can we provide to help kind of delineate one way or the other. I think if we do end up shifting to this process, we'll obviously trial it for a period of time. If after 4 months, 5 months, we decide it's not working for teams, it's not working for us, it's creating a lot of extra work, then we can always switch back. I will say I want to be able to try it for at least a couple months, because I think the first 1 or 2 times we do it, it may not be as beneficial for everybody. But if we can get things kind of established and truly evaluate the process versus what we've done in the past, I think it'll be helpful. But does anybody who voted maybe have... All right, I'll go ahead and end the poll right now, unless anybody, I'm going to give people 5 more seconds to vote if you want to vote. All right. Anybody who voted maybe, is there anything that we can help explain, or we need to consider, or is it just like we'll evaluate as we go along?
I was wondering, sorry, I'm just jumping in here, Claire, if it was you will have to submit it again part.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. Okay, my hesitation would be whether or not it might extend the budgeting contract negotiation timeline. Um, so the budget would need to be fully negotiated before it came to us. So that budget would need to be done. As far as like the back being issued, is that where we're looking at it? I think as soon as it came back to us, we would be able to evaluate, issue the back the same day. The difficulty we're running in now, and that most of the delay around the back, is that because we have things that are discrepant between the calendar, like we have procedures on the calendar that aren't included in the billing grid, or there's items that say, the ICF says sponsor pays for everything, and we have things marked as M1 on the grid. And so I'm hoping that if we can align what we're building in Encore with what we're receiving back with the billing grid, we'll be able to expedite that function. Okay, so you usually use the grid to develop the internal budget, and so you'd be completing the grid again. At the time of developing the internal budget, are you doing that during the budget negotiation time period, or would it be able to be done when we're also doing the MCA, where we'd be able to provide you back the calendar and we'd be able to show you in Encore how things are built, and then you'd be able to utilize that for the internal budget, or is it needed earlier in the process for neurology? I guess that's just kind of food for thought. It's like, are we able to alleviate another step? Okay. And again, like I said, I'm flexible. I just want to make sure that, especially since now we're utilizing Encore more and we're making it a more viable option for more groups, that we are doing it in the smartest way possible. I don't want anybody to feel like they're having to duplicate work. And I do know that we've had a lot of back and forth right now about billing grids. I wanted to figure out how we could best alleviate that. All right. So that is that discussion. It seems like it may be something that we trial. I will take it back, create a workflow diagram, and then maybe next Hub Talk we'll discuss that. But it is something that I think would hopefully alleviate some of the creation. I know, is there anybody on here from Jacksonville? I know that for the new workflow for Jacksonville, creating the billing grids was a bit of a heavy lift. And so I was hoping to help that population with reducing the burden by providing them back the grid already, and then all they had to do was put in the designations. So definitely something to consider and talk about there. All right. Oh, and a few things that I wanted to be able to highlight are some of the updates around closeouts. So just wanted to take a moment. This is the Hub Pulse. This is attached, like I said, to the invite. It's our newsletter. I'm trying to make sure keep it updated. Shout out again, Nisi Black and Kelly Dickman for making it look so much better than the Word doc I had before. We have a little highlight on here for we want to spotlight each of the staff each month. Started with Megan. Fun fact, she used to be a zookeeper and her favorite animal to work with was the giraffes. So now you've got a conversation starter if you ever see her in public. But one of the reasons I also wanted to highlight her was some of the updates around closeouts. So closeouts were stagnant for a period of time where we had difficulty getting the 214s moved into the residuals for a number of reasons. What I will say is there has been significant movement on them since Megan has taken over the process and really streamlined it with the red cap closeout. So we've had a much shorter period of time waiting and a much shorter period of time for people to get to access the residuals. We were able to do 55 in March and 49 in April, which is, it doesn't maybe not be as impressive to everyone else, but knowing what the backlog was, what the difficulty is, and the impressive amount of work that goes into closing out one of these studies. Just wanted to shout out Megan and her team to be able to get this through. So kudos for one and all. And again, this document also has CRH acronyms. So if you have any new staff that are starting, anybody who has any questions, who doesn't know what a BAC or a CLT is, we keep a running, living document here of different things that we're asking for, explaining exactly what we're meaning when we're saying them. And I'm happy to add to this. So if anybody has a suggestion of an acronym or a definition that should be included, I'm happy to add this on here. Probably won't ever delete them unless they're no longer relevant, but we'll always add to this and try and keep it in here. The other thing I want to highlight is we do have the option for front door meetings. These are very short 15-minute meetings to go over basic topics, to answer quick questions, or to review something that we may need to go more in depth with. They've been super helpful in trying to work through some of the more nuanced studies, some that are a little bit more difficult, maybe ones that were established a long time ago and need updates. We're able to schedule directly through the bookings page that we have on the REDCap form, or you can always email us and get one set up. We also have, if you want to have different topics at HubTalk, please submit them to us. If there's a study you want to highlight, something you're proud of, a new initiative. Yesterday was Clinical Trials Day, so we want to be able to do this. Okay, I'll provide a link for it. So it should be in the attachments for the meeting invite. But I'll also include it in the follow-up email I send everybody on this. I would love to be able to distribute it in a more official capacity, but we're having some difficulty on navigating communications. So I will go ahead and make sure I include it in this follow-up email that I have attached. So I'll include that. I'll include the new fee schedule for review, and I will include that intake pamphlet as well. Any questions? Concerns, comments? All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Really, really appreciate it. A quick question. New fee schedule. You said budget negotiators included in the costs. Yes, the CRH team, yes, there's no expectation that budget negotiations will go through CRH. It just means that if you do want CRH to negotiate your budgets, it's no additional cost. So before there was a $750 charge per budget that was negotiated. I will say we've had a great amount of success recovering significantly more per patient or per study in the budgets that we were able to negotiate, especially if your team is going through some staffing transitions, or if there's a protocol you're unrelated to or unfamiliar with. We have had a lot of success with sponsors, but there's no obligation. And if you use us for one, like for the initial budget, but then there's a revision, you guys want to handle that, that's fine too. It's not like you're locked into a contract. It's just an additional service we wanted to offer and make sure everybody was aware that they could engage if they needed to. All right. Anything else? All right, if you have any suggestions for next Hub Talk, please let me know. I'm happy to incorporate them. Again, like if there's a study you want to highlight, if there's a new project that everybody's working on, if there's an initiative. Oh, one last thing. I think everybody got an email about it. The co-mentoring circles from CTSI that we are also leading at CRH. So this is a great opportunity for research staff to be able to come together and discuss with their peers best practices, establish what they think those best practices are, and take them back to their department. It's a collaboration between UF and FSU. Jacksonville campus is also going to be engaged. Application and registration is currently open and available. It will be 6 once a month workshops. So there's going to be different presenters saying what they do. And then there is a Teams group that gets created, as well as 3 online workshops led by different experts in the field. So I will also include the information about that program for anybody who's interested. Great for career development, great for new staff who want to get resources and make contacts. Would really recommend engaging with it. It's something we're very excited to be involved in. All right. And again, if you have any topics for next month, let me know. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know as well, and I'll send a follow-up email. So thank you all.